Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. This Skills Booster session is Copilot working smarter, not harder. Um, my name's Diane. Please refer to me as Dee, everyone else does. And I'm Head of Learning Success at Think Productive. You've got my email there. Please do connect with me on LinkedIn and stay in touch. So I'm part of the team here at Think Productive. If you've not been to our Skills Boosters before and you've not worked with us, we're an organisation that is all about helping people finding ways of doing their best work. And this session is designed to be an introduction. We run these taster skills sessions, these skills boosters, to give you something really useful to take away and to give you a chance to experience what we do. So if you've been to our booster sessions before, you'll know the format. It's 30 minutes of content, and then we always try to save some time for Q&A at the end. Francis, my colleague, is also on the call. He's here as a producer role today. He's going to be keeping an eye on the chat, making sure that if there are any questions, I'm alerted to them. So if you need anything, you can always message Francis directly. And just to let you know that a recording or a link to the recording is going to be shared with all of you at the end. So of course, write notes if that's the way you learn best, but do watch in the knowledge that this will be shared. So notes aren't mandatory. Okay, we're going to start off with a poll. Francis, if you wouldn't mind launching the first poll for us. Which statement best describes your feelings at the moment about AI in the workplace? And you've got four options from excited, curious, cautious, and skeptical. I'll give you just a moment. We've got, oh, it's climbing up. We're at 70% of you at the moment. We're at 90%. If you want to get your vote in, you've got about 5 seconds left. Okay. So let's share the results so everyone can see them. So you can see there that 42% of you are really excited, 35% are curious, 22% are cautious, and 1% are a bit skeptical. And actually, that seems quite a good representative about what we're finding with clients as well. Very similar percentages. So it's brilliant that 42% are already using it. And yeah, 35% curious, and a little bit of caution as well, which is understandable. So we're gonna address some of that today. We've got one more quick poll, which just gives us a little insight into why you're here. Francis is going to launch the next poll. So what would you most like help with today? What is it that you signed up for? What piqued your interest when you saw this skills booster? We're at about 50% at the moment. We're at 80%. Keep going. Let's get to 100%. Another 5 seconds, Francis, and then let's share the results. So a really good range of answers there. Saving time seems to be the most popular. And then knowing where to start and writing and communication is also up there. So that gives me a really good insight into what you most need help with. And also it gives you a chance to see across different people from all different industries and different locations what different people are experiencing as well. So today's session is going to be in four main parts. So we're going to start off just exploring and ironing out really quickly some terminology, because when we talk about Copilot, there's actually two different versions, and there are going to be some people on the call with standard and some people on the call with premium, and there might be some of you that don't actually know what you've got. So I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes ironing this out, and then we're going to carry on our journey. So an important place to start is that whoever is paying for your 365 license, they are the person who would need to upgrade you from a standard to a premium subscription. And if you were to be upgraded, it's around £20 per month per user. So with standard Copilot that you get with your Microsoft 365 subscription without paying anything extra or adding anything else on, you're mainly working in the chat. You're providing information to Copilot, and then in return, Copilot will give you information and suggestions back that can help you plan, draft, or approach your work. So that's standard. And unless your organization has turned that off, everyone with a 365 subscription would have access to that. The premium Copilot actually works across your apps. It works across Outlook, Teams, Words, PowerPoint, and other apps as well. It uses the context you already have access to in your organization. So if you think of standard Copilot helps you in the chat bar from outside of your apps, whereas premium helps you from within your apps. So let me show you what I mean. So this is Word, and this is the word of a premium user. You can see that Copilot is not just in the chat bar to the right, but it's also inside the Word document. So I can, as a premium user, direct premium to make a report from within the Word document, and it can draw upon Teams meetings and PowerPoint documents and anything else in my OneDrive or SharePoint. In standard, you still have Copilot. It's brilliant. It's a chat bar to the right. You can ask it to draft your report for you, but instead of having access to your SharePoint and OneDrive, you would have to feed it, usually through copy and paste, any information that you want it to use. So if, for example, you wanted it to write you a report based on the transcript of a meeting, you would have to paste the transcript into the chat, and it could then write the report for you. But it wouldn't directly make the report in your Word document. It would make it in the chat, and then you would copy and paste it across. Whereas for those of you with premium, it would physically make it within the Word document if you tick on that allow editing button. So that's the kind of distinction. And the way you know whether or not you have Copilot Premium, a really easy way to test it is if you open up Word, you'll have the Copilot box, and you'll also on the chat have this allow editing. So that's the way you can test it. And it's exactly the same in Outlook. In Outlook, for a standard user, you have the chat bar to the right. But if you have that premium subscription, it's not just copying and pasting across from the chat into the email. It can actually write that email for you, and it can draw on other Microsoft apps, things like meeting transcripts. So hopefully that's given a little bit of just a really helpful overview. And in some organizations, everyone has standard. In other organizations, everyone has premium. And in some organizations, it's a bit of a mixture. They've turned on premium for some people and not others. For the purposes of today, we're going to be focusing on Copilot Standard. There are so many amazing things you can do with your Copilot, And that's what we're going to be focusing on for today's session. It is worth noting that we do offer training in both standard and premium, but we wanted today to be really inclusive, so we're going for the standard. Okay, next on our flight path, meet your co-pilot. So we're now going to explore who and what your co-pilot is. So if you think about a plane, modern aircrafts are packed with technology designed to support the pilot. There are systems that help with navigation, monitoring, but the pilot is still responsible for the flight and the landing safely. Copilot works in the same way. It can help us draft, suggest, organize, and think, but it doesn't take away the responsibility of the final outcome. You are still the pilot. You're flying the plane. So Copilot is there to assist you, not to replace your expertise or your judgment. And for those of you in the poll who clicked cautious or skeptical, hopefully that metaphor allows you to just be a bit more comfortable and to think, okay, I'm still in charge, I'm still the pilot. And actually, what Copilot is doing is giving me some assistance should I need it and should I choose to use it. We're not handing over responsibility to Copilot, but we've got an assistant, we've got a co-pilot that can help us with that drafting, organizing, and doing some of the groundwork for us. So that's your co-pilot. And I think that's a really important metaphor to remember. So what can your co-pilot do? Well, it can think, it can plan, it can create, it can organize, it can summarize, and it can improve. It's not just a writing tool. It's a thinking tool as well. It can turn a messy idea into a structure. If you've got a blank page, it can give you a first draft. Or if you've got a really complicated piece of work to do, it can give you a starting point or break it down into smaller steps. It doesn't mean it's doing the work for you. It means it's just reducing some of the friction around getting you started and shaping your thinking. I can see a couple of questions are popping in the chat. How Copilot compares to other tools. Um, I'm not I'm not gonna have time to kind of go into the mechanics and talk about other tools as well. If at the end we've got some extra time, we might be able to come back to that. Okay. What can Copilot not do? And I think this is really important. It's important to know what it can do and what it can't do. It can be helpful, but it can still be wrong. And it is wrong. I think probably we've all had a situation where we've argued with Copilot, or any AI saying, no, that's not quite right. You're giving me false information. It can be a place to soundboard ideas, but it still needs checking. It shouldn't be making decisions for you. It shouldn't be replacing your expertise. It definitely shouldn't be taking responsibility. Well, Copilot told me to do it. It can't guarantee accuracy, and it can't know your full context. So the aim is to use it with confidence, but also to know its limitations. You still, as the expert, stay in charge of your work. And a really good tip for this, something to remember, a useful phrase is trust, but verify. Always verify. It's like our favorite supermarket. It puts like a beautiful, polished product on the shelf, but you still, when you're picking that fruit, you might, and I'm hoping you wouldn't smell it actually. Putting that picture up actually is making me laugh a little bit. I certainly wouldn't go around smelling fruit in the supermarket, but I might give it a little squeeze or check the colour. open it up, not open it up, look at the back of it to check there's no bruising. Even though it looks nice on the outside, we always check it. So when it comes to AI, trust before, trust but verify for sure. So I'd love to know, and I'd love for people to share what parts of your role do you think AI could or does already help you with that you still apply your significant judgment to? So I'm going to kick us off with an example, and then I'd love for you to add your own in the chat. So for me, a big part of my role is responding to client inquiries. And sometimes I ask AI Copilot specifically to draft my reply. But I would never send it without reading it. So answering emails is something for me that it really helps with, but then I apply my judgment as well. So I'm just having a look at what people are sharing in the chat. Task prioritization, financial analysis, helps with meeting summaries, does the sense checking, writing reports, drafting, yeah, complex emails. Using AI for app building, fantastic. Drafting comms, meeting summaries, brainstorming ideas when you're not sure where to start, making emails sound more professional, absolutely, or even more human. Sometimes I read my emails and think, oh, that sounds a little bit too polished. And I think, right, what can I do to just make that sound a little bit more human? So many ideas. Thank you. Rewording emails, absolutely. And there's always a little bit of stigma around AI, or I've used AI to help me. I'm embarrassed. For me, it's not. We're the experts. Copilot is a tool. It's a tool like any other, and it's there to help us get our best work done. It's still our work. It's still our judgment at the end. And you can see if you've taken the time to look at the chat during this, or hopefully if you're watching back in the recording, you can't see the chat, but I've I've given lots of examples from the chat. You can see that so many of us are using AI for so many different things. So at the heart of any AI is prompting. Prompting is the fancy word that seems to be part of our vocabulary now, where essentially you're asking Copilot to help you. They call that the prompt you're giving it, the question, the instruction, the problem that you need a solution for. That's known as prompting. And the right prompting really does determine the output that you will get. So I just wanted to share some techniques from our full 2 hour session where we actually do a lot of prompting and lots of examples and get people to prompt in different ways. But I wanted to share with you some of my favorite prompting techniques. So giving Copilot a role, I think works really well. So you can say to Copilot, I'm going to give you a task. I'd like you to act as a project manager, or I'd like you to act as a trainer, or as a comms expert, or as a critical friend. And if you give Copilot a role before you give it the prompt, that will really influence the output that you get. Because asking a question as a project manager, you're going to get a very different response if you say to Copilot, actually, what I need right now is a critical friend. So definitely one to take away and try. Another nice technique you can try is show Copilot what good looks like. I'm the same. If I want to know, if someone's trying to teach me how to do something, I'm forever saying, give me an example. If you just show me what you need me to do, then I can copy it, I can understand it, I can ask some questions, but I need to see what good looks like. Copilot benefits in exactly the same way. So if you say to Copilot, I would like you to write my meeting agenda for our next meeting. Here is the meeting agenda we used last month. And can you follow the same language, format, structure? Give it an idea of what good looks like, and it can replicate it. So here's an example of the style I'd like you to follow. Um, this is a really nice one as well. Let Copilot write the prompt for you. So if you say to Copilot, I would like you to write a really good prompt that I can ask AI, and then you give it the specifics of what you're going to be asking it to do, and it will give you the most amazing prompt that will get the best out of AI. So you can actually write a prompt to get a prompt. And you can go backwards and forwards a few times until the prompt is right. You would never accept just the first draft. It will always ask you at the end, do you like this? Can I tweak it? Do you need it more longer, more concise? Do you need it more professional sounding? What is it I can do to change this for you? So you can go backwards and forwards, but let Copilot have a go at writing the prompt. This is my personal favorite, this last one. This is the one I now use pretty much all the time. Not if I'm just asking it to write me an email, but if I'm actually asking it to do some thinking around a project or something strategic, this is my favorite. It's called the not yet method. So I say to Copilot, I'm going to give you a prompt, but I don't want you to act on it. Instead, I want you to ask me any clarifying questions. And then once we've ironed out all the questions, then don't start until I say go. Copilot seems to love that. It gets very excited, gives me brilliant clarifying questions. In fact, last time I did this, it actually gave me questions in the form of a poll. I had to I had to click the answers that at most applied. Um, and then it says, okay, I've got everything I need. Will you tell me go now? And then I say go, and it just does it. And I just think that's, for me, the best prompt. I don't have time to do that, as I say, if I'm just drafting an email. But if I'm doing something strategic, some deep work, and I really want my Copilot to help me, then I tell it, not yet. Don't start until I say go. Ask me any clarifying questions first. And it really does. So I can see in the chat someone has said that they were told to use AI a bit like a teenager or maybe even a toddler, telling it to wait until I try something. So yeah, absolutely. That's my absolute favorite, the not yet method. And look, let's bring this together. So, good prompting isn't about one perfect sentence. It's about giving clear context, bringing clear about the outcomes, showing examples where possible, and then continuing the conversation with follow-up questions. It's a conversation. But I've really found the not yet method, it drives me a little bit bonkers when we're halfway through a conversation and then Copilot makes it. And I'm like, no, I'm still telling you what I want you to do. So for me, the not yet method is fantastic. I also really like the giving it a role as well. Okay. Carolina said, so by saying I've got everything I need, is Copilot making a decision, not you? I suppose I've given it at the point where I say, ask me any clarifying questions, I've given it all of the information I would have given it at the start. By Copilot then asking clarifying questions, it's usually things that I go, oh, I should have probably told you that in the first place. So it's not really making the decision for me. It's just asking me anything it thinks I may have left out. Um, I struggle to have a conversation with a computer, but need to get over this. Yeah, Ken, I'm a little bit the same, um, but it does get easier. And I think the trick is probably to use Copilot where you need it, not for everything you do. Um, because then you don't feel like you're going down this rabbit hole, like a 2-minute task is going to turn into a 20-minute task because I'm going backwards and forwards with Copilot. I use my Copilot when I need that critical friend, when I need someone to sense check, when I need someone to pull some data together for me. So, I'd love to ask, are there any other prompting techniques that you have found work really well for you in your experience? If there are any, I'd love for you to pop them in the chat because we can all learn from each other. I'll give you a minute just to type. Just anything you found that works really well for you. Tell me where this could be improved. Absolutely. And Claire, if you add a role as well, tell me where this could be improved as a project manager or as a critical friend, then it gives it that context as well. Yeah, assume the role of to target specific work. Absolutely. Goodness, so many are coming in. I'm struggling to scroll down them all. Let me go back up. I always ask it to give me a counter argument, absolutely, or find the flaws. Molly, I do that as well. So I might say something like, look, I'm presenting this to this audience. What are some of the difficult questions they're going to ask me? What are some of the concerns they might have about whatever I'm presenting? Sense check my thinking, we've got. Explain it like I'm a 10-year-old. Oh, Charlotte, I love that one. That's brilliant. I always use the explain it to me in human language, but actually, I really prefer Charlotte, explain it like a 10-year-old. I think that really gets to the heart of what you're asking Copilot. Just, give this to me in a really basic, easy, often bullet pointed fashion. Be clear about the audience we've got. Is there anything you don't know? And then tell me Oh, yes. You don't have to make anything up. If there's something you don't know, tell me. Yeah, I really like that suggestion. Tell AI exactly what you need. So word for a word English translation of. Yeah. So actually, what is it that we're creating? What's the purpose? What's the audience? What's the structure? What's the tone? So many brilliant ideas. Um, I think perhaps afterwards we'll collate these for you and we'll do them as a post on our LinkedIn because I think there's so many worthwhile tips there that we can share and all use together. Okay, we're at the last section now. I wanted to just give you some ideas of some tasks where your standard Copilot, your chat outside of your apps, can really assist you. Remember, it is not about working harder, it's about working smarter. It's called Smarter Work, this section. Okay, so your Copilot can help you prepare for meetings. If you're the person that is making the meeting, it can help you create your agenda. If you say to it, these are the people that's going to be at the meeting, this is our meeting purpose statement, these are the things we must cover, these are our timings. Can you use all of those factors to create an agenda for me? And if you're going to a meeting and someone else has written the agenda, you can copy and paste your agenda into your Copilot chat and say, look, I'm attending this meeting. This is my role. What questions should I be bringing along? What thinking, what prep work do I need to do? So just remembering, if you've got your premium, then it will already know your meeting agendas. You can just ask it to go into a meeting on a particular day and look at the agenda. But with standard, you would physically have to copy and paste your agenda in, which does take a few extra seconds, but the output is just as good. And then meeting follow-up as well. You can turn meeting notes into a summary. Actions, clarifying owners of different actions, different projects. I also really like not just turn this into a summary, but turn these notes into a summary for. It might be these meeting notes into a summary for our HR director, pulling out what they need to know, or for our senior leadership team, or for our apprentice in our department who's missed the meeting. If you tell Copilot who the summary is for, then it will really put a different lens on the summary it generates. And you can also say, look, I attended this meeting. These are the actions. Can you help me with my actions? So there's so much you can do. Replying to tricky emails. Yeah, this is, we all have tricky emails. It's nothing to be embarrassed of. Sometimes we read, if you're reading an email more than twice, thinking that doesn't feel quite right, is the tone right? Is the punctuation right? Then run it through Copilot. I'm worried. Tell it what you're worried about. I'm worried that actually I'm supposed to be supportive, but I'm worried it's coming off patronizing. Can you give me some advice with this email? If you feel like an email's too long, it can help you make it shorter, make it warmer. If you're worried that you're losing your voice in an email, you can give it a description of the kind of tone you want to create. Can also help you with presentations. So if you've got to do a presentation and you don't really know where to start, it can give you ideas for an outline. It can give you ideas for group work. It can suggest a flow of your slideshow of what to show in what order. It can also draft speaker notes for you as well. That again, you would then need to copy and paste into your presentation. So much that your Copilot can help you with so that you can focus on your boss mode thinking. That's Think Productive, we call the boss mode thinking. When you're doing that deep work, that deep thinking work, let Copilot take some of the tasks away so you can do all the thinking. Same with big projects. If you're a project lead, Copilot can help you identify a big goal, give you key phrases to use. It can give you tasks, break them down into next steps. You could also even say, look, these are the people in my project team. Give an outline of their job titles or their areas of responsibility, and then say, can you first suggest the tasks we need to do to complete this project? And given the expertise of the project team, who would be best placed to do each one? So it can really break down projects for you. And prioritization as well. Copilot shouldn't decide your priorities, but it can really help you sort your thinking. So if you copy and paste in a list of your tasks, deadlines, any time constraints, if you're going on holiday or you've booked some leave coming up, it can suggest possible ways for you to organize and plan your time. We can't manage time. I Think Productive, we always talk about attention management instead of time management. You know, Copilot can't give you more hours in the day, but it can help you plan your attention. Can also give you some advice about what could be delegated, what could be dropped or deferred later. So my advice would be start small. Don't try and transform your whole working week and your whole way of working tomorrow. Choose one task, use Copilot for it repeatedly, review the result, improve the prompt, and build your confidence. Little and often definitely beats big experiments. So that would be my kind of parting advice. And some key takeaways, some things to really think about, particularly if you're in an organization that doesn't have an AI policy yet. I would definitely suggest if that falls under your area of responsibility, that really could be something that is on your to-do list. And some key takeaways that can really inform your policy. You are the pilot. The user is the pilot. You have the ultimate responsibility for your job and your role. Copilot is the thinking partner. The better conversations that you have with Copilot, the better results that it will give you. And really do start small. And I would definitely remind you of the phrase, trust, but verify. So we've only really scratched the surface. I've talked to you for 35 minutes or so, and you've kind of seen a little bit about our approach to training and our approach to Copilot. If you want to dive deeper into any of this stuff, into building culture, into really helping with your use of AI and helping your people get their best work done, we can really help. So today's session was inspired by our in-house workshop, Working Smarter with Copilot. And you can have this 2-hour session either through the lens of standard or through the lens of premium, depending on your organization. And because it's 2 hours, it gives you much more space to have a go and try and do different prompting and generate different reports and meeting agendas. So it's really interactive. I can see that Francis has put the link to the Copilot overview. Thank you, Francis. Interestingly, the Copilot session is actually one of the many modules that come from our Microsoft Productivity Ninjas program. So with this program, you pick the elements that you really need in your organization or for your team. So you can have Copilot Standard as a 2-hour standalone session, or you could also join forces with some of the other elements. So it might be actually that your people really also need help with Teams, Microsoft Teams, or Outlook inbox. So you can build your own program, have an individual element. And if you'd like today, the good news, as I said, is that the recording will be emailed to you. But we also run one of these every month except for August. And I can see Francis, thank you so much, has put the link to our Skills Booster Hub. So that's not just for you guys. It can also be shared with your colleagues as well across your organization. The more the merrier. So this is where you will access the recording of today, but it is also where you can book on to future webinars as well. So you can see the next one we've got coming up in September is Leading Through Change Without Losing Your Team. And then finally, we also run a series of public workshops, and the next one coming up is How to Be a Productivity Ninja in October. So now is the part, I'm just checking the time. We've got a couple of minutes left. Um, so now's really the time if people have any questions. So I know that there were a few questions hidden in amongst the chat, but if you've got any other questions, now's the time to post them, and my attention is on the chat, so I won't miss them. Do we need to be polite with Copilot, or can we just tell it what to do? Um, no, it won't be offended. Um, I always chuckle to myself when I use the word please to Copilot, but you don't have to. It's not going to get angry with you. It's not going to produce something worse because you haven't said it please. You just say, I need this, and that's absolutely fine. Make me this, redraft that. It hasn't got feelings. It's a great question though, Vicky. Yeah, Molly's saying I say thank you to Alexa all the time. Yeah, I do too as well. And again, I always chuckle to myself when I do that. I'm going to give it another couple of minutes in case any more questions come in. Oh, if two equally accurate modules reach opposite, oh my goodness, Matt, if two equally accurate models reach opposite conclusions using different reasoning paths, which should be trusted? Matt, I feel like you've asked Copilot to come up with the most difficult question to ask me. And I think I would probably say ask Copilot. Oh, I'm laughing because Elaine, I can see Elena's put ask AI. Matt, trust the human. Yeah, it's true. Or have a lie down. Yeah. Someone's saying there that they feel like it's a way, it wastes time saying thank you and that kind of thing. Um, and actually, yeah, Michelle's actually talked about the amount of energy that's used saying thank you to Copilot. That's wasted. And the environmental impact of AI is something that for sure comes up with many of our clients. So you wouldn't be the first to raise that. Okay. So we've got about a minute left. So I'd really like to use this time to just give you some contact details. If this is something that you think can really help your organization, then please do book in some time to talk. It might just be you want to springboard some ideas, sounding board, talking about where you are with Copilot at the moment. And it might not be that we can help now, but it might be that we can help you in the future. So Francis has put my calendar link. For those of you who are watching back the recording, you've got my email address as well. Please do book in. We'd love to come and deliver this for your team.